Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome. This is a regular City Commission meeting today for the City of Largo. Today is Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask that if you have a cell phone, please turn it to silent or off so that we don't have any interruptions. We have a packed agenda today, so we'll get started with an invocation given by Pastor Gary Rucker from Keene Terrace Baptist Church, and then if you could please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, good evening. And first, let me say what a pleasure it is really to be here after serving so many years with the police department as a chaplain. It's really wonderful to see all of you all here tonight for such a special occasion. And what a privilege it was for me indeed. Let me invite you all to pray with me, please. God, thank you so much, Lord, that we can take this time to invoke your presence and acknowledge, oh God, that you're already here. I pray, O Lord, that all that transpires here tonight might be done in the awareness of your presence. And Lord, for your glory, give wisdom to each of these who would speak. Bless those, O Lord, that are being honored tonight. And God, thank you again just for who you are, for your love for us and how you've reached down and embraced us and provided the way for us to draw close to you. We do praise you and ask you to guide this meeting tonight for your glory. And I pray this in Christ Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. I'm going to apologize if I'm a little out of breath. I got off an airplane in Tampa about 45 minutes ago. So the first item on the agenda is a ceremonial item where we're welcoming back to our city Matt Spohr. So.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commission, City Manager, staff, and the wonderful residents of the City of Largo. I like to think they're all here for this 110-year certificate, so I'm just going to keep telling myself that.
They're not leaving before it.
That's
so
right.
Good.
That's right. Absolutely, Mayor. My name is Matthew Spohr. I'm the City Manager of Safety Harbor, and I serve as the Florida and City County Managers Association District 7 Director. I also serve as the FCCMA Public Management Matters Committee Chair. On behalf of FCCMA, we are privileged to present the City of Largo with a certificate celebrating your 110th year as a commission manager form of government, as recognized by the ICMA. On behalf of the officers, board and directors, and membership of FCCMA, we offer our sincere congratulations on this milestone achievement. I have a few more words. The commissioner manager form of government was created to help separate administration from direct political influence and establish merit-based practices within local government. It is modeled after a corporation's framework, with voters being the stockholders, selecting a commission being the board of directors, who in turn appoint a professional manager or a professional executive to advise the commission and implement its actions through ordinances and policies. In the state of Florida, nearly 70% of all 411 cities, towns, and villages operate under this form of government. And of the 67 counties in the state of Florida, all but 2 are professionally managed. The City of Largo is recognized as a champion of the commissioner-manager form of government. You have a commission that works together in a professional manner to make decisions and establish policies that are in the best interest of your stakeholders, as evident by your mission. Provide superior services that inspire community pride. Largo is fortunate to have ICMA and FCCMA members leading your city, and City Manager Schubert and Assistant City Manager Pollock. Together they have over 59 years of local government experience. Henry and Maggie are both respected by professionals around the county, state, and country as individuals who maintain the highest integrity and ethics and are always willing to promote their community while helping those cities that may need assistance. They lead a staff, many of them here today, that are committed to providing the highest quality of life possible through your strategic plan values of integrity, collaboration, passion, and creativity. It is this symbiotic relationship between the commissioner and the manager that is a testament to a professionally managed organization, as well as to the city's vision to be the community of choice in Tampa Bay. Now, on behalf of FCCMA and all the other commissioner-manager communities within our county and the state of Florida, We congratulate the City of Largo on this milestone achievement of being a Commissioner-Manager community for 110 years. At this time, I'd like to present this certificate of recognition to the Mayor and City Manager.
Next item, we will have a
It's the jet lag.
I still have this job until June 30th.
So how long was your flight?
I was in a hurry to sit down. Next item, we'll have a Pride Month proclamation.
Whereas the month of June is designated in communities across the United States as Pride Month and a dedicated time to celebrate the value of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and non-binary individuals, and to acknowledge the history of prejudice and discrimination that continues to impact the LGBTQIA+ community, and whereas these Americans have made important and lasting contributions in all aspects of society, from science to the arts, in addition to promoting equal rights for all, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, and whereas the City of Largo observes Pride Month with recognition and celebration through events as well as the raising of the Rainbow Pride flag, which is widely recognized as a symbol of pride, inclusion, and support for LGBTQIA+ people, and whereas the term pride signifies promoting the increased visibility, self-affirmation, and dignity of this population, and emphasizes pride in contrast to shame and social stigma that continue to be felt by many in our society, particularly youth, and whereas during Pride Month we recognize the resilience and determination of the many individuals who continue to fight against barriers to live freely and authentically, and whereas the City of Largo supports a workplace and community in which all individuals are treated with dignity and respect, now therefore I, Woody Brown, Mayor of the City of Largo, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2023 to be Pride Month in the City of Largo in conjunction with National Pride Month and with special recognition of this year's honoree, community leader Nadine Smith, Executive Director of Equality Florida, an organization that is dedicated to securing full equality for Florida's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender and queer LGBTQ community.
Good evening, Commissioners, community members, and colleagues. My name is Eileen Carey. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist with the City of Largo, and happy Pride. Today we celebrated with a ceremonial Pride flag raising at City Hall, but don't worry, there are still plenty of opportunities to connect and celebrate our LGBTQIA+ community through local events and activities, and Largo has several ways to celebrate Pride. This Friday, June 9th from 7 to 9, we're having a Pride splash party at the Highland Family Aquatic Center. On June 13th, there's a Teen Pride Social at the Largo Public Library. And on June 19th from 6 to 9, there's also an Issues That Matter Pride Book Month discussion at the Largo Library about the book Mad Honey. This year, the City of Largo is also participating in some of the St. Pete Pride festivities as the largest annual celebration in Florida. Over 250,000 attendees each year from across the Tampa Bay region and visitors. So come see us at our Family Day table on June 10th, or come see our float at the Pride Parade on June 24th. All of this information and more can also be found at largo.com/pride. Tonight, we have a really special guest with us, and I have the honor of introducing this year's Largo's 2023 Pride Month honoree, community leader Nadine Smith, who currently serves as the CEO of Equality Florida. Equality Florida is the state's largest organization dedicated to ending discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Nadine is here tonight to speak with us in recognition of Pride Month.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the honor. Thank you for the invitation. And I have to be honest, I originally was supposed to be out of town, and I changed my plans because I knew I had to be here. And part of the reason I had to be here was because the last time I was on the agenda at this, for this city, it was February 27th, 2007. And it was on the agenda because the city of Largo issued an apology to me. And folks might not remember this, but in 2000, well, what am I saying? You're going to remember this. In 2007, the city manager was basically fired for coming out as trans. And we had filled the room. There was a lot of folks cheering the ouster. There were a lot of us here standing up to that. And someone had come out the door because it was standing room only. And so once you spoke, you left so somebody else could come in. And somebody had come out, and I was holding a pink sign that said, "Don't discriminate." And he asked me if he could have that sign. And when I handed it to him, that's when the trouble began. And soon I was arrested, and there was a little cell in the back. And I spent quite some time waiting for those charges to be dropped. And what had happened was so shocking that there were even people who were there, not on the same side I was on, who actually spoke up in my defense. So I say this this isn't a gotcha moment for Largo. It's quite the opposite. I hope what it fills you with is pride. I hope what it fills you with is an understanding of how far this city has come, that we are here celebrating diversity, not trying to erase it. And I think it's particularly important to say that at a moment like this when the storm clouds are gathering again and the rhetoric of dehumanizing, of minimizing, of erasing is heavy in our state right now. When there are people fleeing our state because their parents who aren't certain they can get health care for their kid, or because schools that have been increasingly inclusive, with libraries, with families that look like their families, are under attack. And so these ceremonies may seem just small and symbolic, but they carry tremendous weight. There are people watching, and because you are doing this, because you raised the flag, because you read the proclamation, because you have those flags in front of you, they realize how much farther we have come and how important it is that we are in this together. And I didn't know what I was going to say, but I just want to end with this. So the charges were dropped, the chief apologized, the commission apologized, and I'll never forget the arresting officer. I'm not going to say their name, but many years later I was at an event, and I have a son, and it was an event that was about working with peaceful solutions. And I was talking to this woman, and I said, "How did you get involved in this?" She said, "I was in an abusive relationship, and my husband almost killed me." But the officer who responded, she said, "I lived in Largo." The officer who responded really convinced me that I needed to get out, that I was not safe. And he supported me the whole way. And so I volunteer for this organization in recognition of how important that one person was for me. And my son was putting sparkles and drawing with his crayons, and something made me ask her, what was the name of that officer? And when she said the name of the officer, it was the same officer who had slammed me to the ground, arrested me. And it was just a reminder that we are not one story. We are not one thing. We're not defined by one part of who we are. And at a moment like this, when there's a lot of division and there's a lot of things pulling us apart, I think it is really important that we recognize that in this room there might be people who aren't big fans of seeing these flags and hearing this proclamation. But I hope that we can all keep our minds open, keep our hearts open, and realize that every single person here wants to live a good life, be able to take care of the people they love, and raise their kids in a healthy, safe environment where they're respected and their dignity and worth are valued. So I want to thank you for letting me come back to this chamber and, I don't know, burn sage and feel the warm embrace, and it's a reminder that the work, we make progress, but the work is never done, because we see in history those cycles where we make progress and we slide back. We make progress and we slide back. So it is a reminder that change is always possible and that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Thank you all so much.
See, normally I just walk back to the first empty chair, so that's what I did the last time. Next, we'll have a presentation of the Largo Youth, from the Largo Youth Leadership Council on their trip to Tallahassee this year.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. Firstly, I'd like to start off our presentation with a thank you to our advisors. We have Commissioner Robinson, Kara Peel, Marissa Carlisle, and Carson King. They made this trip happen. We want to thank them. Thank you to the Mayor and the entire Commission for giving us the time up here to speak today and for allowing us to participate in this wonderful experience that was not only knowledge-filled, but was fun for all of us as well. I have Alexis Rancel and Yasmin Santos and myself, David Peel, of the Largo Youth Leadership Council. And what we've put together is a quick speech to allow everybody here to see our perspective on the Youth Legislative Action Day trip to Tallahassee and how insightful and unique this trip was for not only us seniors, but other members of the Youth Council as well. I have Yasmin Santos, who's going to take over from here.
Okay, thank you, David, and thank you for having me, Mayor and Commission. On the very first day of our trip, we were enlightened by Steve Van Core's presentation on messaging and the importance of effectively conveying a message, alongside sharing insights into the art of responding courteously to genuine questions from the public and the 4 R's of meeting with elected officials. These 4 R's are relationships matter, respecting their time, respecting their place, and recognizing our clear objectives. We applied Steve's knowledge when we were divided into groups and tasked with developing a theoretical proposal to address a common issue at the local government level. It was during this exercise that many groups realized the stark contrast in approach required when tackling an issue at the local government versus the state government level. Afterwards, we visited the Capitol, got to sit in the gallery, and met with a legislative aide. She's shed light on the role played by lobbyists and the tireless work they carry out on a regular basis. Afterwards, we engaged in discussion with Senator Cross, exploring potential legislative solutions aimed at improving mental health resources for the general public. And this initial day bestowed upon us a perspective on previously unexplored aspects of the government. It has adapted us to critically evaluate the necessary actions to effectively convey our message in a timely manner. Moreover, it instilled a deep appreciation for embracing public feedback and trust as potent tools for problem solving. So to present the second day, fellow senior Alexis Rancel will wrap things up.
Thank you, Yasmin. On our second day, we received an amazing opportunity to become representatives of the state of Florida ourselves. For a moment in time, we were not just observers as members or the Youth Leadership Council. We were active participants in the democratic process. We gained an understanding of the challenges that representatives faced and learned that being a leader requires collaboration, compassion, and a commitment to public service. On a personal level, we were able to foster relationships with council members from other areas of the state. We shared our concerns, made connections, and had conversations with peers and scholars who are passionate about their communities just as we are. Thank you for your time and for listening to our perspective of the Florida League of Cities Tallahassee trip.
Thank you. And don't go too far, because our next item on the agenda is recognizing our graduating seniors from the Youth Leadership Council. Commissioner Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's always weird to be down here. And it's very intimidating. I don't know if any of you guys ever realize that, but so anyhow. I wanted to take a second to recognize the Largo Youth Leadership Council. They concluded the 2022-23 year in accordance with Pinellas County School. The City of Largo would like to recognize 3 graduating seniors from the Largo Youth Leadership Council for their contributions to the council and service to the community, representing the voice of local youth in the city. This year, we recognize graduating seniors Alexis Rancel, David Peel, and Yasmin Santos Ramirez, who have served on the Largo Youth Leadership Council for the past several years and have taken an active role in community projects and providing input on citywide initiatives. So first up, I'd like to talk about Alexis. Alexis is a graduate of Largo High School, go Packers, where she was dual-enrolled student and served on the Largo Youth Leadership Council for the past 4 years. She graduates summa cum laude, and as a member of the National Honor Society, National English Honor Society. She's a 3-time recipient of the Dr. Vilma Fernandez Zalupski Academic Excellence Award. Outside of the classroom, Alexis was an active member of the ASL Club, Octagon Club, and served as a manager on the volleyball team. She's a Girl Scout and has accumulated over 1,000 volunteer hours in the community. Absolutely. Alexis continues her academic career at the University of South Florida, where she will major in history. During the past 4 years on the Largo Youth Leadership Council, her favorite memory is cutting the ribbon at the Shirai at Largo Central Park and having an active role in seeing the project come to life. She also fondly remembers all the jokes and fun memories created together, mostly at my expense. Alexis, you gotta stay up here. We're gonna take some pictures in a second.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yes, forgot. Thanks for reminding me. I mentioned this at a commission meeting a few months ago. For the Tallahassee trip that we took for Legislative Action Days, Alexis unfortunately missed. We left at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and Alexis missed. She overslept. You know, we've all done it, right? So we were about 2 hours north of here. I get a call, and they're like, "Can you wait for us?" We were running short on time. We couldn't do it. I felt terrible. Her mom was on the phone. It was terrible for all of us. And they asked if she made it up to Tallahassee, would she be able to attend? You know, we were there for 2 days. So I was like, of course. So we go throughout the day. Lunchtime comes, and Alexis is there. I was like, all right, cool. I'm glad you could make it. And then later in that day, we went up and visited the Capitol. And as we're walking up to the Capitol, I find out that Alexis took a Greyhound to Tallahassee. She got on a Greyhound in Tampa, went to Tallahassee, was there by lunch, and spent the rest of the couple of days with us. So for the dedication award. All right, next up is David Peel. David also graduates from Largo High School, go Packers, as a student of the Excel program and is an early graduate. He has served on the Largo Youth Leadership Council for the past 4 years. David plans to attend St. Petersburg College and enroll in the EMT program. Shocker. His career aspirations are to be a firefighter, paramedic here in Largo. I added that. Highlights of his time serving on the Largo Youth Leadership Council include designing the Shirai and the Legislative Action Day trip to Tallahassee during his freshman and senior year. Congratulations, David. And last but certainly not least, Yasmin Santos Ramirez. She's a graduate of Largo High's IB program and has served on the Largo Youth Leadership Council for the last 2 years. She graduates summa cum laude and with merit designation and the Florida Biliteracy Seal. Yasmin is a member of the National Honor Society, the National Spanish Honor Society, the National Art Honor Society, Rho Kappa, Student Government Association, we got some more, Youth Leadership Pinellas, and is a junior ambassador to Goodwill. She is also the 2021 Central Pinellas Chamber of Commerce Inspire Award recipient in the youth category. Outside of the classroom, Yasmin was on track and field team and the wrestling team and was a member of the Teen Library Council at the Largo Library, for which she served as the vice president. Over the last couple of years, Yasmin participated in several projects that included hosting Clothes and Candy, collecting clothing donations for Clothes to Kids, and she co-organized the Youth Climate Action Day at the Largo Library, and established Largo High's SGA Emerging Leader Scholarship. Yasmin will be attending Florida State University and plans to double major in political science and internal affairs with a minor in French. Her favorite memory serving on the youth council was exercising stewardship skills by hosting a booth during trick-or-treat trail. Yasmin, congratulations. And I just wanted to say real quick before you all come up here for a picture that I know the future of Largo is bright. I'm sure one or all of these young students will be in one of these seats, if not another seat here soon. And just wait until I'm done. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Robinson, for all your work with the Youth Leadership Council as well. Next, we will have the swearing in of our new police chief.
Good evening, everyone. As Commissioner Robinson said, it does feel odd down here. Tonight, as you're all aware, our police chief, Jeff Understead, retired last week. Friday was his last day, and I'm very proud to say that tonight we present to the community our new police chief, Mike Laux. I would like to take this time to make some introductory comments. Then we'll have the swearing in by the city attorney, and then the pinning by his wife, Nicole, which is always the most dangerous portion of the ceremony. And then he will have the opportunity to present to the City Commission and the community several new police officers and several individuals promoted to leadership positions within the department. I made the decision to promote Mike several months ago, so that gave him plenty of time to plan for these promotions so that he could have a full staff ready to go on his first day as chief. So a little bit about Mike. He's a Marine Corps veteran. He has been employed by the city for 31 years. He started out as a dispatcher and then went to the police academy and obviously became a police officer. He's worked his way through the ranks in just about every capacity in the police department. Some of his more notable accomplishments include being awarded 2 Medals of Valor. He received the Governor's Award for DUI enforcement. He, for a long time, was a member of the department's TAC team, including serving as the leader of that team for 5 years. And he was also instrumental in the department's efforts on both state and national accreditation. Mike is a graduate of the FBI National Academy, and he holds a master's degree as well. He's very much involved in several professional organizations. He grew up in Pinellas County and has been married to his wife, Nicole, for 26 years. Together, they have a daughter, Sage, who is currently in the police academy and will mark the 3rd generation of policing in his family. So Nicole and Sage are both here today, in addition to Mike's mother. Here in the city of Largo, a department director fulfills 2 roles. First is, as police chief, he is the leader of the police department. He is an advocate for his profession, for the department, and for all the team members within that department who provide service every day to this community. Secondly, he's also a member of the executive leadership team that is comprised of the city manager, assistant city manager, and department directors. In this collaborative environment, he will participate in establishing policies and the strategic direction for city operations. As I like to say, the city manager does almost nothing by himself. It is clearly a team effort, and that executive leadership team is a very important component of that. So I am very confident in Mike's ability to fulfill both of these roles in an exemplary manner. So congratulations, Mike.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Michael Lynch,
Do solemnly swear
swear
that I'll support and protect
that I'll support and
protect the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
that I'm entitled to hold office
that I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution,
under the Constitution,
that I'll faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of police chief
of the duties of the office of police chief
in the city of Largo,
in the city of Largo,
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
It's your chance to stab him. Well,
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you very much for trusting me and giving me the opportunity to lead the men and women of the Largo Police Department. I truly have their best interest at heart, and I'm committed to ensure I support them in their efforts to serve the community at the highest standards. Like the city manager mentioned, and it was kind of cool, the city manager, I've worked for him for so many years, and it's an honor for me for you to do that for me. But it is a special occasion tonight because, like the city manager mentioned, we have pretty much every rank in the police department also being promoted. It doesn't happen that often, so we have a deputy chief, a major, lieutenant, sergeant, and 4 brand-new officers all being either promoted or coming onto the police force. So it's a pretty cool occasion, pretty special occasion. So I will have those officers come up, please. There's a lot. Well, we're going to start with Officer Lindsay Carper. That was close. Lindsay was born in Huntsville, Alabama, and raised in Spring Hill, Florida by her mother and father. From 2009 to 2011, she attended St. Petersburg College on a volleyball scholarship and later received her bachelor's degree in criminology from the University of South Florida. In 2015, she graduated from the police academy and then worked for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for 8 years as a child protective investigator, as well as a deputy. On the weekends, she enjoys spending time with her golden retriever, Riker, and her friends and family on the water, paddleboarding or at the beach. In attendance this evening, she has her mom, dad, and several other friends and family. Her mother, Maureen, will be assisting with her pinning. Officer Lindsay Carper. Officer Luis Diaz. Born in Caracas, Venezuela, Officer Diaz moved to Tampa Bay area with his mother in 2005. He enjoys watching football, spending time with his family and kids. He recently started training jiu-jitsu with his daughter, Emberly. In attendance this evening is his wife, Brianna, daughters, Emberly and Ella, and his mother, Marlene. His wife, Brianna, will be assisting with his pinning. Officer Luis Diaz. Officer Luis Rodriguez. Luis was born and raised in New York City. He attended Pace University and the University of Phoenix, graduating summa cum laude. Luis has a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology with an advanced cybersecurity certificate. After moving to Florida with his wife, he graduated from the Hillsborough Community College Law Enforcement Academy and worked with the Tampa Police Department as a patrol officer. Besides police work, Luis enjoys the local beaches, cooking, and spending time with his family. He is humbly excited and thankful for the opportunity to serve. In attendance this evening is his wife, Fabiola Alvarenga, and their daughter, Serafina. His wife, Fabiola, will be assisting with his pinning, Officer Luis Rodriguez. Officer Marina Concepcion. Officer Concepcion is a St. Petersburg native. She graduated from the Criminal Justice Academy at Pinellas Park High School in 2015. She was a police explorer in Pinellas Park for 4 years. During that time, she went to state and national competition and completed over 50 ride-alongs and over 1,200 hours of community service. Eventually retiring as an Explorer Sergeant, she attended the St. Petersburg College where she earned an AS in Crime Scene Technology, AA, and Bachelor's in Public Safety Administration. She is an amateur kickboxer. She also enjoys softball, mixed martial arts, and being on the water. In attendance this evening is her wife, mother, siblings, nephew, friends, and mentors. Her wife, Brittany Concepcion, will be assisting with her pinning. Officer Marina Concepcion. Sergeant Andrew Lynch. We'll just let that resonate. Yeah. Sergeant Lynch has been with the Largo Police Department for 7.5 years. He's currently a member of the problem-oriented policing team as a patrol officer for the previous 2 years. He's also held positions of field training officer, peer support team leader, motor unit, and PBA representative. He has previously been awarded the Life-Saving Medal, Medal of Valor, and Distinguished Service Medal for his narcotics and proactive arrest. He is a St. Petersburg College graduate with a bachelor's degree in Public Safety Administration. Sergeant Lynch is married, and his wife, Caitlin Lynch, will be assisting with his pinning. Sergeant Andrew Lynch. Lieutenant Nick Cusimano. There's all these sounds. Lieutenant Nick Cusimano has been with the Largo Police Department for 18.5 years. He's been a member of the Problem-Oriented Policing Team, POP team, as an officer and a sergeant for nearly half of his career. He has also held the position of Defensive Tactics Instructor, Field Training Officer, and PBA Representative. He's been on the TAC team for over 9 years and currently serves as the Assistant TAC Commander. He has been awarded the Officer of the Year in 2013 and Supervisor of the Year in 2019. He's received 2 life-saving medals and 2 medals of valor. He's a St. Petersburg College graduate with a bachelor's degree in Public Safety Administration. Lieutenant Cusimano is married to his wife, Nicole Cusimano, who is also a police officer with the Largo Police Department. They have a 1-year-old daughter named Lillian and are expecting another girl in July. His wife, Nicole, will be assisting with his pinning. Lieutenant Nick Cusimano. Major Paul Amadeo. Paul Amadeo has worked with the Largo Police Department for over 25 years. He's had the opportunity to serve our citizens and organization in many roles over the years. During Paul's tenure, he has matriculated through nearly all facets of the police department as an officer, a trainer, and a sergeant, and for the past 8 years as a lieutenant. He was also an operational member of their agency's TAC team for 13 years and one of the team commanders for the last 6 years. Paul has a bachelor's degree from USF and a master's degree from Troy University. He also has a graduate certificate from the University of Virginia. He's on the faculty of the University of Phoenix and has previously instructed through St. Petersburg College Multi-Jurisdictional Counter-Drug Task Force. He's also a graduate of the prestigious FBI National Academy, Class 272. Paul has a wonderful family, including his wife, 2 teenage daughters, and a crazy dog. In his personal time, Paul enjoys traveling, camping, spending time with his family, and he volunteers for multiple organizations. Though his volunteer time is currently dominated by his daughter's high school band and their nationally competitive indoor percussion team. And if you're wondering, yes, both daughters are drummers. Paul also plays ice hockey on several local teams, including a Tampa Bay Lightning Run Heroes League police team. Of note, the oak leaves Paul is wearing on his collar for this ceremony belong to his late father, who was an assistant deputy warden for the New York City Department of Corrections. His daughter Erin will be assisting with his pinning. Deputy Chief Ann Starling. Deputy Chief Ann Starling is a native Floridian born in, how do you say it, Lodi, Florida. And prior to becoming a police officer in 2004, she worked in many aspects of the criminal justice field, to include the Department of Corrections and Probation. Ann has served in several capacities in her 19 years at the Largo Police Department. She's held the title of Field Training Officer, Crime Scene Investigator, Honor Guard member, Traffic Homicide Investigator, Driving Instructor, and Defensive Tactics Instructor before promoting to supervise a patrol squad and the traffic safety team. Her career path then took her to serve as a lieutenant for the patrol division, and she was honored to be named the first female assistant TAC commander for the department. The TAC commander is our SWAT team, so you guys don't know. I know some people are waiting to hear that. She most recently held the position of major and served as both administrative and operations major during her tenure at that rank. Ann holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Florida and a master's degree from the University of South Florida. The employees at the police department consider each other family, and Ann loves to come to work each day and serve beside them. She would like to thank them all for their support and encouragement during her career. Ann's wife, Olivia, is a saint who has been with her. Brownie, he's getting the brownie points, aren't you? Who has been by her side through all the craziness that comes with this job. She has been and continues to be a cheerleader, a sounding board, and Ann's strongest advocate throughout these crazy times. Ann's greatest gratitude is for Olivia's support, and Ann feels lucky to have someone so wonderful by her side. She's excited and honored to serve the community in this new capacity as the Deputy Chief of Police and looks forward to the years ahead. Her wife, Olivia, will be assisting in her pinning. Deputy Chief Ann Starling.
Everybody raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I'll support and protect the Constitution of the United States and in the state of Florida against all enemies, domestic or foreign, and that I'll bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same. That I'm entitled to hold office under the Constitution. That I'll faithfully perform all of the duties of and state your office in the city of Largo upon which I'm about to enter. Chief, they did better than you did.
All right, those designated pinners can come up.
Can you say daddy's over?
I think she started crying when you kissed her. All right, like the graduating class of 2023. One more round of applause.
I was going to remind the chief he's got to come around as well. Congratulations. Doing good. Congratulations. Welcome. Place the volleyball center. Congratulations. 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 Welcome. Mike, congratulations. Proud of you.
Who's this? Oh, you. Congratulations.
I want to give you fun stuff.
All right, the next item on the agenda is citizens' comment. If you'd like to speak about something on the agenda outside of the consent docket, please wait until that item comes up. And do we have some cards?
Yes, I have 4 cards. First,
Give it just a minute while some folks are leaving.
The room's going to empty out.
Thank you all for coming.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. The biggest crowd we ever had.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we could, while the folks for the ceremonial items are leaving, I'd like to ask for a motion to allow Commissioner Johnson to participate virtually, if somebody could make that motion. So moved. I'm going to take that as a motion in a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Welcome, Commissioner Johnson.
We need to hold our meetings wherever Commissioner Johnson is. That's a new rule.
It's not bad. We're not allowed to take them out of town. Right?
I know, that's not.
All right, we can go ahead and move on to citizens' comment.
okay. Our first card is for Pat Byrne.
Pat Byrne, 700 Starkey. The theme of this series, overdoing subjective judgment, raised its ugly head in the way the referendum was handled in last fall's election. The subjective call here was that voter assent could be taken for granted. After all, people weren't being asked to approve multi-million-dollar bond issues or whether to turn some of Largo's already substandard green acreage into a developer's moneymaker. The public was never asked in surveys or elections how they felt about either of those projects. They just had to sign off on longer lease terms for private tenants in a city hall and getting rid of a landfill, right? Well, I don't believe that 11,000 people voted against 10-year leasing, or that 15,000 people voted against selling a landfill. I see votes against presumption that Largo residents couldn't follow the P underneath the shells being moved around. The presumption led to an embarrassing lack of effort to educate the voters. You might not remember because so very little was done to engage citizens. But there are a few poorly attended meetings with a few questions asked and fewer of these actually answered. There were a few paragraphs on the city's webpage, but I didn't get any mail or see any placement of handouts in public places. Did you?
Yeah.
On Preserve, citizens referred to the developer who spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to convince Largo's voters. No self-interest there. The voter education campaign, if it can be legitimately called that, kicked off a little more than 2 weeks before the voting began. The commission got the presumption of public apathy shoved in its face, ending Preserve, reducing enthusiasm for Horizon, and leaving many voters with a sense of having been taken for granted or played. The commission has done nothing in response to that to hold any of those responsible for their actions. It has done nothing to redirect a misdirected and lackluster approach, which remains important going forward, regardless of referenda. It has done nothing to enhance its ability to learn and adapt to public sentiments. I reserve judgment on all these projects because I didn't know enough about them. Turns out no one did, because no one bothered to ask. A substantively engaged public and a flexible and responsive commission should have fashioned and could have fashioned far better outcomes. It's not history if you take no lessons from it.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Wendy Vernon.
Hi, I'm Wendy Vernon, and I'm here today to represent P-Flag Safety Harbor. We're a nonprofit organization that supports and advocates for LGBTQ+ people and for their families, and we educate allies and people that really want to understand and help our community. I had something completely different planned to say based on all the hateful rhetoric that was surrounding social media leading up to this. But I can't, I have nothing but thank you to say. That's all I really want to say is thank you for being a leader. Thank you for standing by our community, standing in solidarity and letting everyone know that they're valued. Everybody's equally valued, and that you're giving a place for families to come and feel safe, valued, and loved. And that's the whole goal of everyone. You know, everybody's equal, everybody's human. There's not a group that's better than another, that we can just all happily exist would be the best we can ask for. So thank you for being the leader in that change. They say one person, it just takes one person to affect change. And just think what the whole community can do. I mean, the showing we had today at the flag raising was amazing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Diane Daniel.
Hi, thanks for having us speak. I'm Diane Daniel. I live part-time in Indian Rocks Beach. My parents moved to Largo when I was a teenager. Some of you might recognize my name. I went on a little crusade a couple years ago trying to have the city apologize to the community for firing Susan Stanton in 2017 when she was transitioning. I did not coordinate this with Nadine Smith. I've never met her before, but I was amazed that she also spoke about it. It just showed what an impact something like that had on people. At the time, you all did apologize to me, which I appreciated it, but it wasn't really my goal. My goal was to apologize to the community because people were hurt over that in a lot of different ways. That said, moving forward, I thought today was amazing. I didn't know about the hateful social media rhetoric. I'm not surprised, but I really applaud you for moving forward through that sort of thing and to really show your support to people. Thank you, Michael, because it really does take one person, and I know that you started it here in many ways, same as in Treasure Island with the gay mayor. So as I said, I'm a homeowner in Indian Rocks Beach, and you all have helped me with my effort to ask IRB to have a gay pride proclamation. If they do this, it would be a very big deal. I'm not sure they will. The meeting is next week, but I did use you and Treasure Island as an example and sent them your proclamation. So these things really do have a ripple effect. I'll let you know what happens. Wish me luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Maylee Kuipers.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, Mr. Manager, happy retirement soon. My name is Maylee Kuipers. I live off Indian Rocks Road in Largo, and I'm here tonight to share with you that on May 7th, on the island of Ibiza in Spain, I reached a long-term goal of getting the title of a world multi-sport legend. Multi-sport legend is a title that an athlete that qualifies through their national federation, and for me that would be USA Triathlon, and then proceeds to race and compete in 5 or more world championships at the Multi-Sport World Championship. So from a pool of over 4,000 athletes from 60 nations, I was one of only 15 individuals to accomplish that goal. I completed in 5 world championships. I did a sprint duathlon, I did an aquathlon, I did a cross, i.e. off-road duathlon, a cross, i.e. off-road triathlon, and a long-distance aquabike. I was only one of 2 women to do that, and I was the only U.S. athlete from our Team USA of 400 American athletes to do that. So I'm here not to brag about it. Well, maybe a little bit. But the reason I'm here tonight is because I'm mostly here to thank the city, because you, as many other individuals, are one of the players that made reaching this goal possible. And I not only live and I work, but I also play in Largo. And as such, I am indebted to the Recreation, Park, and Arts Department for the Southwest Pool, where I spent many hours, swimming very early in the morning. I am very grateful for Bonner Nature Park, because that's the trail that I use as my off-road ground. I am super grateful for McGill, super nice rubber trail, because that's where I do my low-impact running work. I want to thank Largo for these jewels, and I want to encourage you guys to continue doing the things that you're doing. Definitely the renovation of the Southwest Pool, big on my list. The maintenance of our nature parks, and I want to encourage the preservation and procurements of additional green space. And this is so that we can pass the torch to the next generation, with the hope that they will have all of the assets that it takes for them to become a legend too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maylee. And congratulations. It's cool to have a world multi-sport legend in our town, as well as a really good speller, if you haven't seen the news.
Do you think we might be able to work up a proclamation for that accomplishment?
Absolutely. We'll get in touch to get some more information about the specifics. Thank you. That's perfect. Next is approval of the agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next is approval, consideration of the minutes from the regular meeting of May 16th, 2023.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any changes or corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Could I hear the consent docket, please?
Item 9, authorization to purchase diesel fuel utilizing Pinellas County Co-op bid number 190-0360-B for the remaining duration of a 5-year period ending December 15th, 2025, from Palmdale Oil Company, Incorporated, for an annual estimated expense of $50,000 and a total estimated expense of $150,000. Item 10, authorization to purchase 2 trash compactors from Waste Equip in accordance with Sourcewell Contract number 040621-WQI in the amount of $65,449. Item 11, approval of payment for fiscal year 2022 water quality monitoring and assessment services to the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners in the amount of $54,519. Item 12, approval of the Starkey Lakes North Plat. Item 13, authorization for the city manager to enter into a joint project agreement between Pinellas County and the City of Largo for the relocation of county utilities at the county's expense during Rosary Road Phase 2 Complete Streets Improvements Project construction in an amount not to exceed $3,300,000. Item 14, authorization to proceed with the purchase of engineered and construction documents for municipal complex chiller and boiler replacement in the estimated amount of $55,000 with Engineering Matrix in accordance with the continuing services contract number RFQ-19-Q-666. Item 15, authorization to increase the purchase order for oils, lubricants, and diesel exhaust fluid purchased from Palmdale Oil Company Incorporated from $49,500 to $90,000 for the remainder of fiscal year 2023.
Thank you. You've heard the consent docket. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent docket without commission discussion and including staff background provided in the commission packets.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next is item number 16.
Good evening. I have before you the second reading of ordinance number 2023-43, an ordinance to authorize the city manager to enter into a lease agreement for leasing of golf carts at the Largo Golf Course. We recommend approval.
Ordinance number 2023-43, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, authorizing pursuant to Section 5.06 of the City Charter the lease of golf carts and utility vehicles from Yamaha Commercial Finance, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions? Commissioner Holmes.
One easy one. I don't know if you'll know this or not. Do we break even on these things, the rental cost versus the leasing cost?
We generate excess revenue on the rental.
Really?
So annually, we estimate about, I'm just trying to do the math real quick in my head, a little over $50,000 in expenditure on the lease per year, but we generate approximately $290,000 in revenue.
Very good math, thank you. I like that.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2023-43 on second and final reading.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is ordinance number 2023-46 on second reading.
Good evening. I'm Don Rooks, Fire Marshal, City of Largo. I have before you ordinance number 2023-46 for the second reading, amending the Code of Ordinances to require fire inspection electronic reporting.
Ordinance number 2023-46, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 13, Fire Prevention and Protection, by adding Section 13-25 to require electronic reporting of all fire protection system reports, by providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards?
We have no cards.
Any questions?
I move to adopt ordinance number 2023-46 on second and final reading.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is resolution number 2365.
Good evening. This item for your consideration is a grant-funded proposal for electric vehicle charging infrastructure at city-owned facilities. This grant opportunity is a new program created by the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law with the aim to assist in the creation of a nationwide network of electric vehicle chargers. If approved by the Commission and the application is successful, the federal government would cover 80% of the costs of the project. And we have with us Energy Administrator Constance Galati that will provide an overview of the proposed project, and then we will be glad to answer any questions afterward. And also want to give credit to our Sustainability Administrator, Sheridan Jamont, who also had a great deal to do with this proposal.
Good evening. So today I prepared a presentation for you on the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure and Discretionary Grant for Public EV Charging. For this presentation, you may hear me refer to Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant as CFI and Public EV Charging or electric vehicle as EV. So what is the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant? It is a competitive federal grant that is granted through the Department of Transportation. It has a minimum award of $500,000. The intention is to expand EV charging infrastructure to disadvantaged areas that are outlined by the Justice 40 guidelines. The CFI grant would fund 80% of the total cost of the proposed project, requiring only a 20% match. The projects will be implemented over a 3-year award period. Okay, and what is the City of Largo's public EV infrastructure project? So we are applying for this grant to install EV chargers at public facilities that are frequented the most by the public. This includes city parks, rec centers, community center, library, etc. We strategically chose the city parks because of their location, their low energy use, which would mean they would not likely need an expensive energy storage upgrade, and to encourage the use of our green spaces to promote health and wellness while charging. While planning the locations for this project, we utilized the Climate and Economic Justice Screening Tool, and over 60% of the proposed locations are within the Justice 40 jurisdictions. We began planning this project because the Duke Energy Park and Plug program is set to end at the end of this year, and the evaluation period for choosing an EV charging vendor, we utilized the lessons learned from the Duke Energy Park and Plug program to ensure there's a robust maintenance package to ensure reliability and consistency for the public. The costs associated with the public EV infrastructure project, the total cost of the project is $691,000. The grant award that we would receive is $553,385, and the required funded match is $137,615. This project would fund 30 dual level 2 EV chargers, which is 60 parking spaces across the city, and 2 single DC fast chargers. These project estimates include estimates for EV ready construction and energy storage upgrades during the award period. A graph published by the Department of Energy in June 2022 shows that Florida has the second highest number of registered electric vehicles across the country. Experts predict nearly 40% of passenger vehicles will require EV charging by 2030. Currently, there's 7,778,493 cars that are currently registered in the state of Florida. 40% of that is over 3 million EV or EV hybrids by 2030 that will require charging. Range anxiety due to inadequate infrastructure remains the major hurdle from widespread adoption, and we hope to be a leader in encouraging EV. The environmental benefits of EV adoption, this graph here shows from the Department of Energy's website that switching to an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid would reduce nearly 10,000 pounds of CO2 emissions every year for each vehicle, despite natural gas making up 74% of electricity production. To ensure that there are no additional requirements of budget requirements of the city, we included previously planned locations to secure the funding for future infrastructure needs. These locations had been previously planned out, and they would be included in the matched funds of $137,615, and that amount is distributed over a 3-year budget period. The cost of that match is the equivalent of 10 public level 2 dual EV chargers, which is likely what we would need within the next 3 years anyway, so there wouldn't be any additional funding required likely. So this is a reimbursement grant, and the grant funds the installation, EV chargers, unexpected energy storage upgrades, and EV-ready construction. These are some of the proposed locations that are part of this project. As you can see, we did include some of the Horizon chargers since those have already been planned for. This would fund the replacement of the Duke Energy Park and Plug chargers, and then across the parks across the city. These secondary priority locations were placed there in case there are unexpected funds without compromising the integrity of the project. Those locations generally are in flood zones or would have a park with a charger within 1.5 miles. So we worked pretty intense on building this narrative, and it is a 26-page document. The CFI grant narrative writing team consisted of the Intergovernmental Relations Coordinator, Energy Program Administrator, and Sustainability and Resiliency Administrator. It contains a project management team, implementation plan, risk and resiliency management plan, and strategic communication and engagement plan to help inform the community of our efforts. And we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Resolution number 2365, a resolution of the City of Largo, Florida, authorizing the submittal of an application for a grant through the Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Discretionary Grant Program in the amount of $553,385 and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions? Commissioner Gerard.
Yeah, hi, thanks. When I read the memo on this, the memo said they would provide funding for the installation of 8 dual chargers, which is 16 charging spaces at Horizon West Bay, a dual charger at all other locations along with necessary construction. So if we go back to the list of locations, all those priority locations would get chargers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a $691,000 project. So that is 30, we estimated it, and now that we've finally gotten through the final phase of evaluation, we have a pretty good estimate of what the chargers are going to cost, and that's the cost of 30 dual level 2 chargers and 2 DC fast chargers. DC fast chargers are generally used in an emergency, so that's why we went with the dual level 2, so we could build out the infrastructure further.
So 30 dual level 2 would actually be 60 charging stations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Very exciting. You'd better get this grant.
As far as we know, if we are successful with this and implement the project as proposed, we would be the first city in the area to say that we have EV charging at all city facilities, which would be a real feather in our cap.
Can I ask also, when's the grant application due and when we're supposed to hear?
It is due next Wednesday, and who knows with the federal government, hopefully within 6 months.
Okay. really hurrying on that.
Commissioner Holmes.
How are we considered disadvantaged?
So there is a tool on the federal government's website. It's called the Climate and Economic Planning Tool. And what they do is they take different economic markers and environmental markers, and if there's 2 or more, they have different parts of the community that are considered disadvantaged. So not all of Largo is. We had our GIS team overlay that map because it's generally used for a lot of grant applications. So we were able to compare which locations would be within those areas. So a lot of central Largo is within that area.
Only the federal government could come up with something like that. My second question to you, who maintains these charging stations?
We're in the process of choosing a vendor that will have a robust and extended maintenance package.
All right, so we're going to have to hire a contractor to maintain them. What happens to the, these aren't going to be, the user has to pay for these things.
Generally, yes.
Believe me, Tesla's not going to give you a freebie.
Yes, we would be charging.
Okay,
The
we're
current chargers we do not charge for, but our intent was when we move to this next phase, we would charge.
Who gets the money? Do we get the money on that?
So the, there's usually a rate that would charge like at the rate of the electricity per kilowatt. So that would go towards paying the electric. And then there would be a separate rate if we decided. Generally, they can use it for peak periods if charging is more expensive during that time. Or, if we wanted to do like a parking fee for that area, we have not made a determination on that
Let me
yet.
back off. I'm going to rephrase my question. When you are using these things, and I mean, I've seen plenty of them in use, you have to stick your credit card in the machine, you plug in your car, and then as this thing is, it's just racking up the fee for charging your vehicle. That money, for example, if you go to Wawa, the contract is with Tesla because those are Tesla's charging units out there, but the money goes to Wawa, and what they're doing is they're paying a fee to Tesla to maintain these things. Do we have the same, are we looking at the same situation? We are not.
No, so we're in the process of choosing a vendor that we would be purchasing the chargers from. We would also be paying for software, generally over a 5-year period, and the network costs. So we would be able to set those rates and we would receive those, but all of the costs are included upfront in the cost of the charger, and then we could extend like warranty packages or software packages or network packages after that 5-year period.
All right, this application that you're putting in a week from tomorrow, this can't be for the full package then, because a lot of the questions I've just asked you, there's no answers for them at this moment. So when we're applying for this money, for this grant, is this just, we're going to do this because we qualify for it?
This grant is brand new, so they actually extended the deadline for it. It came out the first part of May, and discovered that because it's brand new and a lot of local governments across the country were just not prepared for what is required. So they extended it by 2 weeks. We knew it was coming, so and we knew we were going to apply when it did come out, so we had done some preliminary work on that. So we were able to pull together a solid proposal, but we do know that a lot of surrounding cities are taking a pass on this because they just simply were not prepared because it is a new grant application.
And we did spend a lot of time planning it. It wasn't just thrown together. Like we've met over a month and a half period.
I understand the city is prepared. I mean, your staffs have done a yeoman's job on this thing. I'm talking about the other end though. That's what what are they going to turn around and hit us with? But you're not going to know that though until they do it. Thank you. That's all I have.
Well, hopefully they hit us with $600,000 to pay for charging stations. I would like to commend you all for getting, I know that these grant opportunities from the bipartisan infrastructure bill are coming out fast and furious, and this is an example of that. I spent the last 3 days with mayors from around the country, and people from the DOT, people from federal agencies were there, and they were saying to all of us, get your requests in, because there's a short window for all of them. Some are like this. It's just for infrastructure around charging stations or fueling, and so they're very specific. And they can help your cities, and they go directly to cities. They don't go to states or counties where it gets a little more convoluted. So I commend you on working on this. I have a whole list of other things that I'd like us to look at as well, including broadband to places in our city that don't have a high level of broadband, and safer streets grants to help us pay for maybe some safer street projects that we're having trouble with rising costs that are very soon as far as the window for application. So I'll be meeting with Henry in a couple days, and I'm sure he's excited for that meeting because I've got a whole list of stuff right here. Sorry. I'll get that later. But thank you for putting this together, and I'm excited for it. I think that it's something that we're going to do anyway. Because we know that we're going to put electric charging stations in the Horizon building, and we're going to expand. I did have a question along, I think you mentioned that some of the Duke or all of the Duke are being replaced. Is that correct?
So if we got the grant, we'd be able to replace them to ensure that we had the same software for tracking across all of them. Last we spoke with Duke, they did not have a solid plan of what would happen at the end of the contract. They said they're still working on that. So we had to assume that, it was done and that was it. And even if they transferred ownership, we wouldn't have software for it. So all of that has been taken into consideration. We asked them to update us as soon as they have an answer of what they plan to do.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Holmes?
Just 2 more easy questions. Number one, in a perfect world, you get this application in a week from tomorrow. What is the inception date of this plan? What is the ultimate conclusion of this plan, number one? And number two, in a perfect world, is this something that we make money at, or do we break even at it, or do you know?
I would assume our goal would be pretty much to break even, that we would want to cover the energy costs, obviously, and any ongoing maintenance costs.
Okay. The beginning dates to the...
Yeah, it would be whenever the grant award period began. So the purpose for us choosing an EV vendor, we made sure that they had software that could be programmed to chargers that were not that brand, where if something like that did happen with the Duke Energy chargers and we needed to have software that was operational on them, that we could do that. And if we needed to like wait until the grant award period began. So it would be a 3-year period from whenever they decided the grant award period began.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I move to approve resolution number 2365.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is approval. Where are we at?
19.
Item number 19. Go with that.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This agenda item came before you May 2nd. This is a request for approval of an interlocal agreement for the Whitney Road Complete Streets Concept Plan. At that meeting, you asked staff to go back and speak with Pinellas County about 2 projects, this being one. The other, a project that was headed towards construction, and there was fair citizen comment about trees being impacted. So in order to set context, I just wanted to there we go. Wanted to provide a graphic so we can talk about the 2 separate projects. On the left-hand side, and this basically shows the life cycle of a project through construction. On the left-hand side is a concept plan, and on the right-hand side is a project that has been through preliminary engineering, design, and then construction. So the project of which this agenda item is the Complete Streets Concept Plan. That is the project on the left-hand side. That's basically an infant project. That's time equals 0. This Complete Streets Concept Plan is a planning document. The budget is about $100,000, paid for by Pinellas County. Pinellas County has asked the city to contribute $15,000. The project limits are from the US 19 frontage road to Ballesta Road. It's a distance of about 1.5 miles. And that is the project of which this agenda item is. The second, I would like to speak to the second project, and Ms. Mulville-Friel may speak to the Complete Streets Concept Plan. We also have in the audience Scott Swearingen. He is the long-range planning manager for Pinellas County. He is available to answer questions as well. So I'd like to take on the Whitney Road Intersection Improvements Project. That is the one that generated a fair amount of citizen comment. That project is fully designed. It was begun in 2012, and looking back at that graphic, I do want to point out that the 5 years there between the concept plan and a project for construction really has to do with it just getting funded and into the CIP. So the Whitney Road intersection project is in that category. It's funded and in the county CIP. The budget is substantially more than the $100,000 for the Complete Streets Concept Plan. If memory serves, I believe the project manager told me it was an $8 million project, so big difference in cost. The intersection improvement project is a 1/4 mile. It's you can think of it as about an eighth of a mile on one side of Wolford and an eighth of a mile on the other side of Wolford. Because it was because of the citizen comments that you asked us to go speak with the county about that project, which we had been. So the week after, the engineering services director, Wolozinski, and I met with the county's project manager and also the manager of the transportation engineering section. And our first question was, is this a project the county would consider defunding? The answer was negative there. They explained that the project had been on the intersection improvement list for 2 decades, and they explained how it expanded into a road improvement project. Apparently years ago, sidewalk was added on the north side of Whitney Road. It was sandwiched in with no provision for clear zone, so really it's a substandard sidewalk and somewhat of a safety issue because of its closeness to the road. The project also addresses proximity depth and erosion issues caused by the ditch there on the south side of Whitney Road. And the project provides a typical section. So the county said they were going to proceed with this project. However, they did indicate to us that because of the citizen feedback they had gotten actually as part of the Whitney Road Complete Streets concept plan, they did propose a realignment to save as many trees as possible. They submitted that proposal to the design consultant, and the design consultant said that that realignment is feasible at additional design cost and additional construction cost. At the same time, County Commissioner Eggers did go and meet with the community there at Arbor Trace. And also the manager of the transportation engineering section and the project coordinator both have had regular meetings with the Arbor Trace residents. And specifically, they have directly engaged the owners of the horse stables regarding their concerns with respect to the intersection there. Today, Public Works Director Kelly Hammer-Levy approved that redesign. So the county Public Works Department has taken the residents' comments seriously, and they're willing to put money behind saving as many trees as they can. With that, Diane, would you like to speak
Sure.
about the concept plan?
Yeah, I have here just the Complete Streets concept plan for the Whitney Road project, and this roadway, Whitney, is under Pinellas County's jurisdiction, so they're the ones who submitted the grant application, and the city provided a letter of support for that application, and we were really excited about it because Whitney Road, as you can see, is right here. This is Whitney Road, and then it comes down to Ballesta and Roosevelt Boulevard here. Whitney Road is a very critical east-west through street for the city. Right now, it's only a 2-lane, 2-way, kind of unimproved fairly. Doesn't really have a lot of curbing and very steep drop-offs to the ditches on the south side there. The speed limit's 30 miles an hour, and it has discontinuous sidewalk coverage on both sides of the road, and no dedicated bicycle facilities. And although there are no dedicated bicycle facilities, the project intersects with the future Duke Energy Trail, which is, I believe, this green line here. So that's going to be a major bicycle pedestrian throughway someday, so it's going to have important multimodal connections to the Duke Energy Trail, as well as where Whitney Road intersects with US 19 is one of the only existing underpasses for bicyclists and pedestrians to get under US 19 and continue onto the western side. Otherwise, they'd have to travel approximately a mile north to Bel Air to cross over US 19, or a half mile south to Roosevelt Boulevard. So we're viewing this as a very significant through street that we want to see multimodal improvements to. And the county put together a really nice grant application. It has all the crash data and so forth for the last 5 years on this roadway. There's been 41 crashes, not counting that intersection there at the US 19 Whitney. But there's all kinds of other benefits to providing this throughway, in addition to it's connecting our US, it's the Tri-City Special Area Plan with the Bay Vista Office Park. That's going to become a redevelopment catalyst. We've already gotten quite a few inquiries from community development for developers wanting to come in and look at redeveloping the Bay Vista site. And so it's also identified on the Gateway Master Plan as one of the critical, Bay Vista Office Center is one of the critical nodes in the Gateway Master Plan. So we really are excited about this project. As Barry said, it's just in the planning phases right now. And the public involvement for just the planning phase, I think the county's had about 3 public engagement meetings. We've sent out over 1,000 notices to everyone within 500 feet of the entire corridor. They have a very active website with all the information on the county about this project. And so there's been a lot more public involvement just for this project that's brought to light the Whitney Road area. And so I guess that's an overview of the Complete Streets project, and we're looking to support the county with this agenda item by, what is the ask, Barry? I'm sorry.
$15,000?
$15,000 for the, to contribute towards the planning phase of the project. And we're talking, I'm not sure what the ultimate plan will be for construction and so forth, probably another 5 years out, maybe. Scott could comment on that if necessary. But so any questions from staff?
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
I have a couple questions. You mentioned the speed limit along Whitney Road, and this is, now, first of all, I think looking at the road and doing a plan for a complete street is a great idea, and I think we all kind of discussed that up here last time, but we were concerned about the intersection. But you mentioned the speed limit. I would hope that there's not plans in the complete street to increase that speed limit through a neighborhood.
No, I think the general consensus of a complete street project is to, help to offer other forms of transportation, bicycle, pedestrian, and to, not have it be a throughway, like a speedway.
So my concern was that you mentioned both 30 miles an hour as well as it's a narrow road, which are both things that slow traffic down. So I understand the concept of complete streets, but I want to be clear that we're not going to make a wider runway for cars to speed to cut the corner off of Roosevelt to get to US 19 through a residential area. And I'm confident that that's not the case, but I hope I'm right. One of the challenges, I think, the challenges that we heard about from the residents last week was that intersection that's been in the works for 11 years or so. I think that if the city was restructuring an intersection in a residential area, we would have public information meetings early on and input Do you know if there was any input from the county? Because I think it's surprising to me that, you know, the only reason now the county is looking at realigning that is because we were looking to participate in a complete streets plan for the area, and suddenly they're up in arms over this thing that's been worked on for 10 years. I'm not sure how that happens.
We are aware of a public meeting the county did have with the residents. It goes back a few years. It was 2017.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Holmes. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I'm surprised. If you look at Bolesta going down to Roosevelt, I don't know why that's such a major thing, because you can only turn right at that intersection unless the county's going to change that, where you can go left or right. But believe me, I've been down it 100 times. You can only turn right. Unless you come over, I can't make out the name of that street, but you come over here to 49th Street, you can go, you make the little jog in there, then you'll come to the intersection and you can go left or right. But anyway, I'm just surprised at that thing. I just have, I mean, I have no objection to this, you know, $14,000 going out. That's, you know, almost pocket money. I guess the big question was, where Wolford comes into Whitney, the question was the $100,000 for, we were going to contribute to moving our reclaimed line, but I don't think that's, well, it's probably part of this ultimately, but it's not part of this agenda item, I don't think.
That is correct. That is a joint project agreement, a JPA, that I know has been to the commission a couple of times, you know, because the price has increased. But that is that's a separate agreement with the county.
Okay, because I know we got all these, you know, sort of layouts in our mailbox this week, but that's not this thing at all, though. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I move to approve authorization to enter into the interlocal agreement between Pinellas County and the City of Largo for Whitney Road Complete Streets Concept Plan funding.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, we are going to recess the City Commission meeting for a Community Redevelopment Agency item.
Good evening. This item is Resolution CRA 2023-01, authorizing the approval of real property conveyed by the Largo Community Redevelopment Agency to the city for the purpose of the construction and operation of Horizon West Bay. The purpose of this item is to request approval to convey the real property owned by the Largo Community Redevelopment Agency, or CRA, to the city for the construction and operation of the new mixed-use complex and parking garage known as Horizon West Bay. The real property consists of 5 of the total of 12 parcels that make up the 400 block of West Bay Drive Northwest. The 5 parcels were previously conveyed by the city to the CRA in the year 2012. I'm happy to answer any questions about this item.
Resolution number CRA 2023-01, a resolution of the City of Largo Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the conveyance of real property to the City of Largo for the purpose of the construction and operation of Horizon West Bay, authorizing the agency chair, clerk, and attorney to execute all documents and do all things necessary to carry out such conveyance, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions from the agency?
I move to approve resolution number CRA 2023-01.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next, I will, now we're going to adjourn the CRA meeting to reconvene the City Commission meeting for one more item.
Okay. This next item is resolution number 2364 for acceptance of the real property conveyed by the Largo Community Redevelopment Agency to the city for the purpose of the construction and operation of Horizon West Bay. The purpose of this item is to request acceptance of the real property owned by the CRA to the city for the construction and operation of the new mixed-use complex and parking garage known as Horizon West Bay. The real property consists of 5 of the total of 12 parcels that make up the 400 block of West Bay Drive Northwest.
Resolution,
I'm sorry. Happy to take any questions.
Resolution number 2364, a resolution of the City of Largo, Florida, authorizing the acceptance of real property conveyed by the Largo Community Redevelopment Agency to the city for the purpose of the construction and operation of Horizon West Bay, authorizing the mayor, city clerk, and city attorney to execute all documents and do all things necessary to carry out such conveyance, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any public input?
We have no cards.
Commissioner Gerard.
Thank you. Help me to understand, please, that the Community Redevelopment Agency is conveying property to the city, and the city is accepting this property, but we've been building on this property for many, many months. And I would just, I don't know if it's just a paperwork thing, but we've been building on CRA property now and have some pretty big structures. Would anything bad happen if we didn't do this, or is it just, dotting i's and crossing t's, or what?
It's essentially dotting i's and crossing t's. You're allowed to build City Hall on City RA-owned property.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the plan, in the CRA plan that Horizon would be built on CRA property. It's compliant with the statute that governs the CRA. You could, we don't have to do this.
Okay.
We're just trying to make it clean so all the so that Horizon is fully on city-owned property, so that any action in the future that the city wants to take with regard to the property, everything's owned by one entity. But it's not required that the CRA give you the property. It's not required that the city accept it.
But it'd be nice if we did.
It's just cleaner. And so a lot generated by engineering and me, that we just thought it would be cleaner, since we're building this project, that we just have it on city-owned property.
And we will eventually replat the whole block, which is required under our development code.
Once it's done.
That answered Commissioner Robinson's question.
Thanks. I don't want to say anything anyhow.
Any other questions?
I move to approve resolution number 2364.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is from the dais, Mr. Zimmett.
First, I'd like to thank Commissioner Gerard for that question, so I got to say something tonight.
Yeah.
Just appreciate the opportunity to join you back up on the dais. Thanks for allowing me to be present in the room with Carson for a few meetings. Having said that, I'll be leaving again. For the next 2 meetings, you'll be seeing me on the screen over there, as I'll be in California visiting my grandson, and who I haven't gotten to see or haven't been out to see in California for about 18 months. So appreciate your allowing me to do that, and I will see you on the TV screen for the next 2 meetings.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you, and have a nice trip out there.
California dream.
Commissioner Holmes.
Fortunately,
Are we going to do anything for Dev Shaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got in about an hour after me, so if my flight was much later, I would have been there to welcome at the airport. But
So we're going to do something for him here.
there was something at the airport today at 6:15.
Well, I wasn't at the airport, so never mind. 79 years ago, right about now, the D-Day invasion was taking, now it had taken place already, which is the end of the beginning of the liberation of Europe from Nazi tyranny. The United States lost 1,465 soldiers. We had 3,184 wounded, 1,928 missing. The Brits had 3,300, all of the above. The Canadians had 1,000 of them. It's just something, I was surprised we didn't even have an honorable mention in the agenda today. So anyway, that has been made up for. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, in the state of Florida, I found out there's 14,000 World War II veterans living in Florida. Be interesting to see how many live in Largo. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gerard.
Thank you for Commissioner Holmes for that information. I did hear and read about the D-Day invasion anniversary, and it is important, very, very important, so it's worthwhile mentioning. I want to congratulate everybody on the Youth Leadership Council for the great work they do, and it's really encouraging to see young people get involved like that and really want to participate in the community. It's like I said, it's encouraging. It gives me faith and hope in the future. I want to congratulate all our new police officers. It's just wonderful to see, and of course the promotions. We have, I will say without any hesitation at all, the best police agency in the Tampa Bay area, and I would put that up against the 8-county Tampa Bay area. So it's great to see it. And I'm very, very proud of the support that the city has for not just Pride Month, but for all people of all stripes throughout the year. Every single day of the year, the city stands up and says, you know, you're part of our community and we treasure you. It's just a really, really good thing to see. And it really touches my heart. And then sometimes it makes no sense to sit up here on the dais and then respond to things people say during citizen comment. But sometimes it's really important to do that too, just so if anybody's paying attention or watching it later on TV or streaming it. There were some comments tonight about the referenda during the last general election. And what I took is like serious misinformation about how the city reached out to the entire community to make sure that everybody was as fully informed as they wanted to be. There were all kinds of stickers and flyers and handouts and announcements about meetings and how do you get the information. And there were local meetings and community meetings, and I attended a few of them, and they were well attended. And the result is, if you were to take a look at it, one of the referenda passed and one of the referenda failed. So somebody was paying attention, and to say that the city was trying to hide it or keep people ignorant, it's just flat out wrong, and whoever says that should really apologize to the city for such a ridiculous statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Robinson.
Thank you. I too was thinking throughout this entire meeting about whether or not there should be a response to some of the public comments.
Yeah, but I have a big mouth. So,
and I think Commissioner Gerard did a good job, so I'll just go ahead and say I echo those statements. I was also attended many of those meetings, and they were all very well attended. We made an effort, a concerted effort, and it was talked about many times on this dais, as well as through every type of social media and in any way we know how to get out information, the information about that. Those referenda were out there. So no need to continue on down that road, but I agree with your statements, Commissioner Gerard. Couple things I also would like to thank or congratulate all the promotions and new hires for Largo Police Department. We continue to have a great police department, and just seeing all those folks up here today was good to see, and there were some really good folks that were promoted into some important positions in that department. So Secondly, I would like to say that it was an honor for me to be able to make a few brief statements at our Pride Month flag raising ceremony before the commission meeting today. It was, again, truly an honor, even though I messed up Commissioner Smith's name in front of 50 people, so no big deal. But it was. It was Smith. I got that part right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So. It was really inspiring to see, this ceremony continues to get larger and larger every year, and it's very inspiring to see more and more members of the community coming out and celebrating with this organization. And I think having been to every one of them and being involved in the Pride Parade last year and really seeing people who live in the city of Largo happy that we recognize those folks as a part of this community, and it as somebody who tries to be an ally, I'm happy to see that, and it's inspiring, and I've said that word a couple of times tonight, but it really is to see people feel at home, and that's, I think, what we all try to do up here. Lastly, I would like to recognize Kara Peel and Marissa Carlisle, the members of the Largo Youth Leadership Council with me. Kara is our special events coordinator. Marissa is the library teen services coordinator. They are the other advisors for the Largo Youth Leadership Council, and without those two, we would not have that council, so I really want to recognize them. And then Alexis, who obviously gets the dedication award for staying through this whole meeting. So 2 awards in one night for her. But all in all, I really want to say thank you to the entire Youth Leadership Council, the 3 seniors who are leaving and going on to bigger and better things. I hope that this continues to be your home and that you want to come back whenever you're done with whatever it is you're doing. And I really hope to see 1 or 2 of you up in this seat in the near future. Again, after I'm done. I really don't want to try to run against any of you guys, but no, it makes me know that Largo is in a good place, and our future is bright, and it's all because of you guys, so thank you very much.
Could you tell us when the next meeting is, if somebody incoming freshman was watching tonight and wanted to be a part of that?
So just so you know, in case you all saw me hug somebody that was up here before, that was my daughter, so it wasn't awkward. She is an incoming freshman. Is a member of the,
I think it was for her.
Yeah. Maybe it was. Yeah, you're right. But she is an incoming freshman and a member of the Youth Leadership Council. But anybody else that is incoming freshman or in the 8th grade this year, lives in the city of Largo or attends a Largo school, those meetings are the first Wednesday of every month, generally here at City Hall. There will be one tomorrow. It's not at City Hall. It's actually at the library. We're taking a tour of the library. But they're from 4:30 to 5:30, monthly, first Wednesday of the month. Information is available on the website.
Very good.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Hulk.
So just to echo Commissioner Robinson and Commissioner Gerard about our guest speaker tonight, or not guest speaker, but our public speaker. I just actually would like to just make a comment that that person was in attendance at several of the meetings that we went to, so obviously the word was out there and it was available to people. So aside from that, I want to say that this was like one of the most positive, love-felt, emotional meetings that I've been on the commission for 8 years, a little over 8 years now, and the love and the positivity and it was just I'm not good at these words. I think you know what I'm trying to say. It was just a really good feeling meeting tonight, and I'm just so proud of the city and all the things that we do, whether it's promotions or proclamations or recognition or, we just, I feel like this commission and the city really has a lot of respect for our citizens and them for us as well. And I know I appreciate that tremendously, and strive for the transparency and know that we are always here for you, negative, positive, whatever. We're here for you as you are for us. And also, I want to wish my mother a happy 80th birthday. She's going to tell me, but and we're looking forward to celebrating that on Thursday night.
Congratulations.
So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
First, I just wanted to thank you again for letting me attend virtually for my family vacation in Blue Ridge on the lake. It's beautiful up here. It's a great place to host a meeting, for sure. And big congratulations to Alexis, David, and Yasmin. They were great public speakers, and I echo Commissioner Robinson. I don't want to have to run against them ever in any election anyway. They did fantastic. Congratulations to our officers. It sounds like I missed a great day. I'm sorry to have done so, but I'm glad we were well attended by the rest of the commission and you, Mayor and Vice Mayor. So thank you again for letting me Zoom in for this meeting, and everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
I kind of would also like to echo most of what the majority of this board's already said. I congratulate the officers on the promotions and the coming into a great city to be here for our police department and their families to be here and see, like Vice Mayor Hulk said, the love in this room was so wonderful to see. I kind of want to pivot a little bit to the Youth Council. I really thank you for everything y'all do. I remember growing up, I had dyslexia, so I grew up very hard time reading books and understanding things, but it was the bond of other young people and people that came to me and adults that got involved into government and history, found my passion for government and reading. I ended up, now I work in a library. So I really, even if it's my seat you take, I agree. I would love to have any of y'all to take my seat. You are a treasure to Largo and to our community and to everybody here. So thank you, and continue everything you want to do. To Commissioner Robinson's comment to misspeaking, I have no problem. He got the second part right of Smith and got the first part wrong as Eric. But I respect that because seeing it actually kind of tied into a really cool thing, was that my life partner's name is Eric. And to have that mix-up is kind of a funny thing, because we've come over the last couple of years and through COVID just loving each other. You found that love there for someone and you care about them. And that's really blessed up here by all of us, I have to say. So, I mean, we're going on 13 years now, and he's put up with everything a crap of politics that people have said, and trust me, there are many times when I was on social media and seeing some of the negative comments that you want to sit there and defend, and you realize they're just keyboard warriors who have no guts to actually come out and say something, and if they do, then so be it. But he's been there for me and kept me from the responding back with things that, we need more love. That's my biggest thing. I thank the mayor for the proclamation, and I know Nadine Smith and Equality Florida deeply appreciate it. I thank this commission for continuing doing the pride flag raising. There are many in this community that sometimes still are scared to even come out of the closet. And it's not just youth, it's seniors that are getting scared back into the closet or can't come out. Our youth are when they're LGBTQIA+, they're 4 times more likely to commit suicide. Now, I was possibly one of those statistics. I thought I was wrong, and that God made me wrong, and my church told me I was wrong. And it took good, compassionate people to tell me that you are loved. And this group up here told me to be, you are you, and continue being you. And I will stand up for any youth out there that need help, or someone to speak to, or a senior. It's just love and kindness. We all want to go about our lives and be there. So I speak for one person up here, but there are many that have not been able to speak because they're just ashamed, or they're afraid, or the ones who are speaking up, they're trying to better their community, their lives. They're not trying to be evil. I mean, that is just so wrong. It's just, I mean, we are good people, and we should be respecting and being kind to each other. But the biggest part, like I say, is the love today in this room, and I thank all my citizens for giving me the opportunity to serve on this board and being up here to be a voice for the minority of a community. We could be so much better if we just show more kindness and love. So I thank you all, and thank you, this commission. And to the staff, they are the greatest. This was, in my opinion, the biggest turnout we've had of citizens. And our staff members who show up, I thank you. You keep showing me, amazing me of what you can do out there. And keep it up. Just keep being as best you can and loving and kindness, because, like I said, there's those people out there, you're touching people's lives, so continue doing it, and I love you all, and I thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for everything you've done up here, too, to help us along this journey to change from what it was 15 years ago or whatever. I don't know the math. It was a while ago, though. So I wanted to thank the commission for sending me to Ohio, to the United States Conference of Mayors the last 3 days or 4 days. I had 3 full days of sitting down with mayors from across the country. There's 350 mayors there. We're kind of a medium to small city in this lot. It's a lot of the big cities dealing with many of the same issues that we are on a much bigger scale, I would say. But I sat in on policy stuff around housing, homelessness, human trafficking, small business engagement, recycling, electric vehicles, broadband, resiliency, floodplain management, and flooding. And I'm not going to go into all the details yet, but I think there's some really low-hanging fruit that we can do to improve a lot of those things, and a lot of opportunities out there right now that I'll share over the next couple of months. So thank you. It was. I'm going to sleep well tonight, but it was very productive. I think this is. I hope that this doesn't get printed in the newspaper tomorrow, because I'm not 100%, but I think it's coming to Tampa in a couple of years. So I've talked to the mayor of Tampa and Anna Cruz as well 2 days ago about rolling out the red carpet for the nation's mayors as they come here. So I don't know why. I'm tired too. Sorry. Anyway.
Michael Gerard can finish it for us.
Yeah. So no, I just think we can do a lot to show off our whole region. I get like this when I'm tired sometimes. But thank you for sending me. I wanted to mention, I'll also thank the youth leadership folks and for being out here today and an amazing presentation. All 3 of them did a great job. I was going to mention our spelling champion, who is a classmate of Weiland's, my son's, and he'll be at Largo High next year. So got some smart people over there. And congratulations to all the PD, the new officers, and all of our folks that got promoted today. And that's all I had on my list. Mr. Schubert.
I think just about everything's been said already, except maybe just very quickly. I was very pleased with the fact that I was able to make an internal promotion to the chief position in the police department. We have great leaders at all levels of that organization. So the great thing about promoting an internal promotion to chief is it opens up several promotional opportunities for many other very deserving individuals in that department. And I would echo the comments that have been made about the quality of our department. That's one of the things I'm very proud of as city manager. I sleep well at night knowing that our police department is doing the right thing while the rest of us are sleeping. So that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. Any action items?
The only one I had was a request by Commissioner Gerard that staff prepare a proclamation recognizing Maylee Kuipers for attaining the title of World Multi-Sport Athlete.
Yeah, no, we can add on that we'll like to do something for.
Speller?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of his first name.
For Dev.
For Deb Shaw. Well, we're watching the spelling bee at a tavern in Columbus, Ohio. We made them put it on the TV, and then they turned the volume down on the Miami Heat game so that we could listen to the spelling bee. It was amazing.
Wow.
So with that, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Can I add one thing? I just want to point out that next week will be Henry Schubert's last work session, and the week after that will be his last regular meeting. And there'll be parties and all that celebrating you leaving. But I'm sure,
Could you word that differently?
I just want to say thanks. I want to thanks for for decades and decades of service to the city.
Thank you very much.
Decades and decades.
Meeting's adjourned.